Warren, you're South Australia's largest individual vineyard owner and owner of Seppeltfield wines. What makes SA wine grapes so good?
Wow, complex question, Amy. I think climate first. The climate in South Australia, our soils are fantastic. The climate's fantastic. We've got limited water, so we're at the end of the River Murray, but we've got enough water really to sustain premium grape growing. And our climate is hot and dry, so our disease risks are very low. In fact, in many ways, we're quite organic in terms of world viticulture. So it's really climate, soil and limited water. And I think the passion of our grape growers, and many of them now are 5 or 6 generations old, and they have a real understanding of terroir, Australian terroir.
Perfect. You were part of a panel discussing the Australian wine industry today. What varieties and products are selling best for Seppeltfield at the moment?
Oh, definitely in China, you mean?
Or anywhere?
Yeah. Well, in China, definitely red wine. I mean, that's our biggest market now. 26% of the value of our total wine exports is China, and come from nowhere really in the last 5 or 6 years. But red wine is the dominant. 95% of what China drinks is red and 5% is white. Hardly any sparklings or anything else. So we're well placed in South Australia to supply that, and the free trade agreement has given us a huge springboard put in by the coalition Andrew Robb in 2015.
So China was a hot topic in today's session. What are the cultural challenges of entering this market?
Oh, they're serious. They're serious. Completely different culture to our Anglo-Saxon culture, if you like, Australian culture. Wow. They probably, the best way to describe it, I think, after 34 trips to China is that we like to complete a deal and, negotiate, and you start here and I start there, and we'll finish somewhere in between depending on who's the best negotiator. But when we're there and both people are happy, Amy and Warren shake hands and we go out and have a lunch and we get pissed. There, they're completely the opposite. There, they want to drink and eat first and get to know you. Yep. And talk a little bit of business, talk around it, no deal. Then go and eat and drink again, talk a little bit about business, no deal. And then they'll do the same thing the next day, the next day, the next day. So it can be quite frustrating doing business in China. But I think the two things you need persistence and you need patience. You really do, because you need to develop trust and respect between the two parties.
So what advice would you give to SA grape growers wanting to break into the Chinese market?
Understand what your customer wants. So China at the moment is a little confused on what it wants. So it's very important for us to talk to the Chinese customer and what do you actually want? Do you want wine at a certain price? Do you want wine at a certain grade? They'll mainly want red, as I've said before, but is it important that it's from the Barossa Valley or McLaren Vale? Is it important that it's Shiraz or Cabernet? Understand what they actually want before you just start throwing samples at them. So you can actually define the business that you can do together.
Perfect. And one last question. What wine variety are you liking to drink at the moment?
Oh, God, I love Australian reds, but I love the fact that Chardonnay in Australia in the last 5 years has got rid of the oak, has come back to really clean, crisp, varietal Chardonnay from Tassie or from southern Australian mainland. And, g'day Tim.
Hey Warren.
How are you?
How are you?
And, they're the sort of styles I like drinking now.
Yep.
Yeah, crisp, cool area Australian wines.
I've got one more while I've got you. What exciting innovations are you putting in at Seppeltfield to help your grape growing?
Oh, wow, we're doing trials all the time. We're 3,200 acres in the Barossa Valley, so we're the largest vineyard owners in the Barossa. It's important that we're innovative. So cane pruning, is what we're looking at the moment. There's quite a bit of Utapa in the Barossa. We're all aware of that. We've got to try and eliminate that to get our yields back to reasonable levels using the same water input. So they're the sort of things we're doing.
Really interesting. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.